may have played poker, but playing poker in Texas is a different animal. This is the Texas Poker Podcast with Tyler and Clint.
Hello, this is the Texas Poker Podcast. I'm Tyler. This is Clint.
What's up, y'all?
And we are back with episode 19.
Episode 19. So, Tyler, this is going to be a pretty heavy Tyler episode because I have not been playing all that much poker. And what I have been playing, not worth talking about. So, I've been doing a lot of PLO study. I mean, there is that, but that is pretty much the extent of my poker, is kind of making my range and trying to get a little bit better with that game. And I'm finding some stuff that's finally starting to click in. And so tell me, what have you been up to, man?
Okay, so remember how last episode we talked about shot taking, moving up in stakes and everything, right?
Okay.
So I believe it was either that night or the day after. I can't remember the exact day when we recorded or whenever I posted it or whatever. So we had just talked about shot taking and stuff. And I was like, all right, well, I haven't been to Paramount in forever, right?
Okay.
And I know I did the $100 in bulk time, which I love to see them doing now. So I had a ton of time. So I was like, I'm just going to go to Paramount. Because I know me and you have been kind of talking a little bit of PLO strategy. And I was like, all right, I need to go and try to play some correct PLO maybe and just, not test my luck, but, try to get a little bit more experience in. It was kind of more my thought. And I was like, I'll go do it at the 1-2 table, right?
Well, I feel like you're in a lesser situation than I am, where, I mean, knowing some PLO for that reverse button is pretty helpful. So I like this.
Well, and some of the stuff you were telling me about, I was like, well, that seems like some pretty good strategy that, I would like to maybe try to implement or at least try to see some of those situations. So I went to Paramount, I got on the list, and table was full. So I got to play their free pinball I got all the pinball I could handle, played both machines.
Well, that sounds shitty for poker, but I do love me some pinball, so at least they do have that, so okay.
And if you don't know, Paramount's pinball is free, so.
Very, very nice.
But okay, so I'm at Paramount, and, I don't know, very short sample size, nothing was really going my way. I had a few pocket pairs, I would have hit sets on the river, but would not have been good on any of them, so.
Oh, God.
But I had already folded, and, so I'm there, and then I see some guy, Levi, and he said, "Hey man, yeah, I was just at 52 or 88. That place is packed." I was like, "It's packed?" I was like, "What do you mean it's packed? Like packed as normal?" And he's like, "No, the tournament series is going on. It's crazy over there. No open seats. Every table's full." I said, "What?" Because I never even looked at the Atlas because Paramount's not on the Atlas. I just know there's always a game at 88, so. I pull out my phone, and I see it must have been like 9 1-3 tables, and they had a 2-5 game going, right?
Okay, I know we've been looking to move up in stakes here and there, so that's really interesting.
And a 2-5 game, as weird as it sounds, is kind of hard to come by where I play.
We talk about it all the time, how it's either 1-3 or 5-5, most of the time 5-5-10. That it is hard to find that middle ground game here in Houston.
And I was thinking, well, that 2-5 will be perfect for me, right, if I can get on that game. So I was like, well, this is my last hand, guys, at Paramount. They're like, your last hand, you just got it. I was like, and I'm gone.
I didn't like the way y'all were treating me, taking my money, so I'm taking my shit, and I'm going home.
Yeah, so I paid the $10 door fee, gave $170 to the game, and ran away. So I jump in my car. I'm flying to 88 now, right?
Okay.
And I get there, and it's so packed. I've never seen it so packed. You know where, like, the pool table is and stuff?
Right.
All of that is tables now.
Oh, I remember seeing that the last time I went there and was, like, kind of shocked.
And I walk in, and the place is just jam-packed, right? I told him put me on the 1-3 list and the 2-5 list, right?
Okay.
2-5 game is full. I get on a 1-3 table. I start playing a little bit of 1-3. I think I was up maybe like $50 or something, right? And then the 2-5 game is ready. So I go over there, right? I add on another 500, so I'm in the game for 1,000, right?
Right.
So I was like, oh, here we go. Shot taking just after, like, what we had talked about, you know? And, I mean, the game was playing pretty big, as it always does. You know, the opening bet was probably like $40, stuff like that. That sounds about right.
And 2-5. What this was 5-5.
2-5.
This was 2-5, and the opening bet's $40. Man, that's such a big opening bet. To find that to be the average just shocks the hell out of me.
Yeah, but, I mean, I guess when you're playing that deep, you know, people are trying to get stacks in. You have to... I mean,
Yes.
it's hard to get stacks in whenever you open for 25 and everyone's, you know, 4K effective.
That is true.
So the big interesting hand that I had whenever I first sat down was I had a suited A7 of clubs, and the flop came 5, 6, 8, 2 spades in a club, right?
Okay, so you flop open-ended and a backdoor nut flush draw.
Yes.
Okay.
So, you know,
How many players are in the hand?
four-handed.
Four-handed. And what was the opening? What was the bet?
Let's just call it 40. I'm sure it was
Okay,
40.
so about 160 in the pot. Okay.
Yep. And someone leads out. He bets it was probably like $55, $60. So I just put in the call and everyone else called, right?
I like this.
The turn is the jack of clubs.
Okay, so now you're open-ended with the nut flush draw on for the river.
Yes. Then this guy sizes up pretty big to like 250. And now I'm never folding, right?
Well, I mean, I don't say never. Let's go. Okay, it's 250. What do we think the pot is right here? Because we're saying 160 the flop. You said everybody called the flop.
Yep.
Okay, so let's just call that 200. So we're saying 250 into maybe 360 is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Okay. So 250 into 360. With nut implied odds, I think it's probably a call.
Right. So he bet, the guy to my right called, so then I called.
Oh man, with that guy with
Yeah.
the guy calling in between, it's basically always a call.
Oh,
yeah.
I forgot to. Yeah, sorry, I forgot that part.
Yeah,
When I said I'm never folding, the guy to my right called as well.
yeah, big.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're getting added 250 into those odds, that definitely changes things. Okay.
Right. Yeah, the minor details. The river is a blank club, so not like a straight flush club, but a club, right? I believe it was the deuce of clubs.
For you, there's
Yeah.
no blank
Yeah,
club
right.
here.
Yeah. Right.
Fireworks went off on this blank club.
Right. And then he sizes up.
Oh God.
Yeah. So he covers me, and then I think he bet like 300, 350. And the other guy folds. I jam all in. He snap calls, throws his cards on the table like he has the winner, right?
Okay.
And I was like, did I just misread the board and there's a possible straight flush? I mean, I'm still going to lose all my money, right? I mean, I'm not full. I mean, if he hit the straight flush.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm good. And then he shows 5, 6 of clubs for flop 2 pair. And then he went backdoor clubs. But I had the nut club, so I stacked him in that.
I mean, that's kind of a weird line for him to. Wait, okay. So he had 5, 6 of clubs.
Yes.
Let me see. You had this. Wait, you had ace.
7 of
7?
clubs.
So he was betting with nothing.
No, he flopped 2 pair.
Oh, okay. He flopped 2. Okay,
Yeah.
he flopped 2 pair. Kind of a super weird line for him to bet that river with 2 players calling on the turn, and then betting that river, and then snap calling a jam. That I realize you rivered a flush, but I mean 6 high is not the best flush in the world.
Yeah, but, I mean, the game was running pretty good, right?
It sounds like the game was running excellent.
Before that, and then, so that put me at around $2,000, maybe a little bit more, right? Then I kind of won some, lost some. I called some guy down with like bottom pair and was good. He had ace high. So that was pretty cool. And,
Oh, wow. Very nice.
And so things were kind of rolling for me, right? I was about 2,800 at this point, right?
Okay.
And people are kind of seeing that. Oh, now the stakes have moved up to 5,510 now, right? Because everyone wanted to get rid of the ones on the table. Because it was I kind of get it having the 2-5. Like, it is kind of weird. Like, whenever you could just, if the game's already playing $40 open, do we really need the twos instead of 5-5?
Well, I guess. I mean, here's my thought: is we both wish there was a more consistent 5-5 going,
or 2-5.
Yeah, and I feel like if a game is 2-5, I mean, in 5-5-10, if you can afford that game and it's a good game, you always want it to be bigger, and at that exact moment. But I'm wondering if they kept it 2-5, it'd be less intimidating to players, and you keep it going more consistently. Is my thought.
Well, I'm not sure, but we adjusted to the 5-5-10 for this next hand.
I mean, it definitely seems like it makes sense. The way y'all are playing and how deep y'all are, it definitely seems to make sense.
Right. So I was like, well, okay, so here's the hand of the session, basically, right?
Okay.
Or the hand, So I get pocket 10s, right?
Pocket 10s, gotcha.
I'm pretty sure I made it like 50-55.
So is it? I'm assuming this is a 3-bet, or either that or a squeeze.
No, this was a open.
You open. Oh, okay. It is 5-5-10. Okay, 50, 55, 60.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just call this 60.
Sure. It goes 3 ways to the flop, right? The big blind calls, and one of the guys to my left calls.
Okay.
I see the 10 in the window.
Oh God, nice.
So happy, right? The flop comes 10, queen, 6, 2 diamonds.
Queen 10, 6, 2 diamonds. I mean, this could not be more perfect for you.
Right. And I'm like, but this is definitely the type of board that you need to defend against the flush draw. There's pair plus what could be backdoor straight draws. There is possible straight draws, right?
Oh, well, to me, whenever you're up against middle set, you just never slow play. Because like you say, I mean, because one is a lot of times someone will have top pair, and they're never folding for 1 or 2 bets. Especially here. I mean, they're probably calling their entire stack with top pair. But, yeah, you got the flush draw, you got Jack 9, you got going in there. You also got all the queens, Queen Jack, King Queen, Ace
King
Queen.
Jack's open-ended, yeah.
Yeah, King Jack. So, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
And even better, the guy leads out for 300.
300?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm getting 180 in the pot right now. He overbets the pot?
What's it called? I believe so. It was So there must have been another caller behind us in this pot.
Is it 3? I got 3 ways to the flop, or is it 3 callers?
It was 3 callers.
So, okay, so I'd have 240, so he's still over a pot.
Yes, it was over pot.
Okay, so he bets 300 into... Oh, God almighty. Wow, what a dream come true.
So, obvious raise, right?
Yes, absolutely.
What size are you going with here? Because he has me covered, and I started 2,800, 900.
You started with how much?
Like 2,800 or 2,900.
God, this is kind of weird.
It's going to be a big bet. Yeah.
Because I think I'm going 1,000.
See, I'd already thought in my head 900, and then I was like, I mean, the whole point in this hand is to play for stacks, right? So I made it 1,000.
That's kind of my thought, because I was like, well, I mean, there's a ton of cards he could have outs here. So I don't want to give him too cheap of a price. And pretty much almost every turn, I'm jamming.
Exactly. So I was like, well, 1,000. The next guy folds. He snap jams all in for my entire stack.
I mean, this is a sick feeling, because, I mean, you're like, could I be up against pocket queens here? With no 3-bet pre-flop, a draw-heavy board, and players who tend to overplay all kinds of hands, I'm never folding here.
Right. Well, and this player has rebought 4 and 5 times.
So it could even be
Because
tilted.
he went all in with like a gut shot,
Oh wow.
but
Yeah.
not for that much. Obviously, he bought in much deeper this time. So
I mean,
I snap call the all in. Right.
okay.
So this is now the biggest pot I've ever played, ever. Right.
Wow.
And I roll over tens. Got to be good, right? He rolls over queens,
God almighty.
and then just the nightmare, right?
That is heartbreaking. I mean, like there's just no way to get away from this. I mean, with the way the structure of the board is, I mean, there's just and him not 3-betting queens. I mean, anybody who says they're folding here is just lying.
No help on the turn of the river, obviously. I get stacked for the whole thing, and some guy had just sat down at the table, short stacked, and he looks around and goes, "Nope, nope, nope, nope. F this, nope, nope, nope. Table change, table change. I'm leaving. This is ridiculous. Bye. F this game." He's yelled out everyone. F that. Nope, 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 nope. No, I'm leaving. And I'm just sitting there, just kind of like, oh man.
That is, I was listening to like they were doing a replay of like Rounders or whatever on one of the podcasts. What is it? The Rewatchables with Bill Simmons.
Okay.
And he was talking about like that opening scene where like all of a sudden he realizes KGB has the straight flush and all of his chips are going and just how horrid that is and how it's like probably the worst thing in the most unimportant worst thing in the world feeling you could ever have.
Oh yeah. No, I remember sitting there thinking, well, and then I have to decide, am I going to rebuy into this game?
Man, I tell you what, like after that, I just know. I mean, not only am I not rebuying, I'm walking my car thinking of other fucking hobbies I can do that are not poker related. I mean, being like, nope, this is it. That I'm never playing this shit again. I mean, I'm going to, but for that moment, just talking about how I'm never playing this goddamn game again.
And here's the worst part. Well, this is definitely not the worst part. You already heard the worst part.
I was about to say, I think it's worse. I mean, I'm wondering how you're sitting here in front of me.
So, and I had already deposited money from the last few winning sessions. So I had only showed up with $2,000, right? So this is all my money, right? So, I mean, if things go bad or if I need any more money, I don't have it, right?
But so you still have money on you though, because you showed up with 2,000 and you were only in for 1,000, right?
Right.
I mean, even though you had 2,000 in front of you, it was mostly winning. So you have 1,000 on you right now.
Right. So now it's on the table.
Okay, so you have the last little bit. I mean, you have ATM. A little dramatic. You have more money in the account. It's just what you have on you right now.
Right, but it's super awkward if you need money, you don't have any.
Oh, that's a definitely awkward spot. I mean, yeah.
So
I mean, might say $5 just in case.
Well, no, I meant like if I needed to rebuy again, right?
If you need to rebuy again, you need fucking help, man.
so I'm like, ooh, that was rough, right? I remember sitting there thinking like, I think I've lost my sense of taste. I was like, yeah, I do not feel great.
I got beat so bad in this hand, he just gave me COVID.
Yeah, I was like,
I even lost my health in the hand.
Yeah, 'cause I remember just sitting there like, oh god, like I must have looked so sad. Like I was like, is it okay to cry? I was like, I think I might be crying. I'm not sure. Because everyone just looking at me and I just must look so sad. I was just, It's just so sad. Just
see
like,
that.
because I had already run up to almost 3K and then lost it all in one hand, right?
Especially when you think you're probably good. When you snap call those tens, you think you're almost always good there, at least at that moment. I mean, you're definitely worried about him having a lot of outs, but you think you're good.
Right. You think you're getting the money in good, not drawing to one out, right?
Yeah, very true.
I'm just sitting there so sad, just beat up. Just, ugh. So I fold for about an hour, right? Just regrouping, really.
I will say this. I like that when you rebought, that you didn't go crazy with it on tilt and you just sat there and folded. I think that was a really good move.
So then I was like, man, I mean, I'm going to be able to set up or set someone at some point, right?
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way I look at it. Every time I get set up or set, I'm like, well, I'm going to set up or set someone else. Kind of wish it was at this game, but I'm sure at the 1-2 table, I'm going to bad beat someone, I guess.
When we're on one of those free roll tournaments, you're going to get that set over set.
Yeah, I'm going to get them. So now I'm just in there like, oh, man. This is tough. And then I get pocket eights.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, and I'm sure it's 50 pre-flop, and everyone in the table calls, right?
I kind of love this hand for your mental state. Because, I mean, you're either going to hit or you're not here, right?
Or I'm not going to bluff, but that's not the point.
I got you.
So, flop comes king, king, 8
Oh, wow.
with 2 spades. And it checks to me, and I remember I had just watched a Bart on Crush Life Poker, one of his YouTube videos, on how too many people slow play hands. Like, whenever you're going to get value. So, if I was sitting there thinking, I was like, okay, we just saw this multi-way, right? And they called the 50 pre, so
Right.
people are going to have hands here. People love playing kings. A king, right? So, a king is literally never folding, right?
Yeah, I love the fast play here. Because, like you say, a king is never folding, and you're not getting value from almost anything else.
Whoa, flush draws.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
So I was like, there's way too much stuff that I can charge here, right?
Right, yeah.
So I sized up to probably like maybe 200, something like that.
Okay, if you're betting 200, I'm assuming there's probably 3 in the pot or something.
Yeah, it was something. Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of people saw. And I get a caller. So I was like, this is great, right?
That's wonderful.
The turn was like a 7 of hearts. So I was like, doesn't change anything for me.
No, absolutely nothing.
Yeah, so I bet big again. I mean, I'm no point to slow down at this rate, right?
Right.
And I bet like, so it was 200. So I bet probably like 300, I think. 400. It was 400.
Yeah, 3 would have been a little under half pot,
Yeah.
which I think you would have bet more, it seems like. Okay, so
400.
400.
And he calls.
So, I mean, he basically has a king here all day. I think even a flush draw's gone here.
Right. I had won a few hands before. This is the first notable hand. Because I'm realizing I had more than 1,000 in my stack. Because I remember how much I bet on the river. But that's not the point. So, river comes, bricks off the flush. And I believe it was like the 2 of hearts. Something like that.
Okay.
It was a very brickish card. So in theory, flush draw is never calling, right?
Right.
But he could bluff. And this is a player who would bluff. But a king is never folding, right? You can agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with both those statements.
So I said, well, maybe this is just my time to put a bad beat on someone. I'm all in, right? For another 750, 800.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I love this. I mean, absolutely.
He tanks, and he shows a king. So I was like, well, that's good. I mean, it'd be a wicked slow roll if he had, like, the deuce. But, I mean, you know. And he turns over king, queen, and puts in the call. And I double up there. Right?
Yeah, I
So
mean,
now-
it seems like he knew kind of. I mean, the thing. I think you did a good job at betting all the way up until the river to kind of get him to commit his stack. It seemed like the pot odds, he just couldn't fold a king with a decent kicker.
And he even said, he's like, I'm pretty sure you just have a boat here every time. He's like, and I should fold, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So,
It's-
I mean, that got me going, right? And then here's one that's pretty interesting for you. We were doing $20 bomb pots 9-handed, right?
Okay.
So I get king, queen in the bomb pot. And the flop comes king, queen, 9, 2 diamonds. The other one comes king, queen, 6, rainbow.
Oh God.
So I was like, this is perfect. I haven't played a bomb. I mean, I haven't played any hand. Well, I haven't played any big bomb pots. I've played a few and folded, right?
Right.
So I had, on this hand, I had exactly a little bit over 1,300 in my stack. Because I had lost some hands from the previous king's hand, right?
Okay.
Um, so I just bet 100. Just let out for 100. That seemed to be the normal
How much were y'all were doing? $20 palm pots?
nine-handed. Yeah.
I think I like a little bit more because that seems about like half pot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but you have this board so locked up that I guess half pot's probably good here.
Well, here's the other thing. I kind of want to see a few callers here on this street, right? If I have both boards so locked up, and then I can bomb the turn.
Yeah,
was kind of my
true.
theory.
That's a good point. I mean, bomb pots, because I mean there are so many callers or so many cards that are outs. I like to kind of bet bigger. These boards are so locked up, but I mean I don't know. Jack 10 has outs on both boards,
Correct.
so but yeah, okay, I can go behind this.
I immediately get raised to 350.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Folds back to me. I said, you know what? I'm all in. 13 whatever, 1350.
I mean, the only thing I have beating you here is a
Pocket.
set of kings, and a set of queens.
And I was like, if that's what he has, that's just it for me, right? You're just taking all the money anyway.
Yeah, if you flop top two pair on both boards and they have both case kings or queens.
Yeah, the one combination.
Yeah, then that just is what it is.
He calls.
I am so shocked at what this dude could ever have. Well, I guess most likely like bottom set on one board, right?
He turns over King Jack offsuit.
I mean,
So he had a gutter on one, right? So it was 9. So a 10, so it would have been 9. He needed a 10. Jack, Queen, King. So he had top pair and a gutter. The other one he just had top pair.
I'm trying to think of. I guess this is very strong. I mean, he'd be very strong against, like the sets that you could have here. But I mean, he's losing to Ace King. I mean, if you have Ace King here, he's getting stacked. I mean, with one pair, with not even a ton of outs here.
I mean, he's really hoping for a set of 6s or set of 9s, right? That has to be what you're hoping for.
Yeah, absolutely has to be what you're hoping for. I mean, it's kind of tough because that's kind of a tricky hand to play here. I mean, the only hands he's really losing to is actually, well, aces, ace king, and
King,
like,
Queen.
A set of queens and king. I don't know, for your whole stack. This is kind of dicey.
Well, it's not his whole stack. It's my whole stack, right? I mean, we're so deep, and I'm the short stack.
I mean, okay, for a shitload of money, it's kind of dicey. Let's go
There
that
you go.
way. Yeah.
But yeah, he puts in the call. I get the full double. Obviously, the full double up. I double up there.
Very nice.
And then I play one other pretty big hand in the in this or one more noteworthy hand where I have King 10 suited, King 10 of diamonds, right? The flop comes. It was like 2 diamonds. But here's the best part. One of them was the ace of diamonds.
Oh, giving you the nut flush draw.
Yep. And that guy from the bomb pot bets out pretty big. It's like 100. But it was multi-way again, $50, so it's like half pot, right? And I call.
Were there any other callers?
I think one.
Kind of like to see that with such a big draw here. Okay.
The turn brought the diamond, so I have the nuts, right?
Wow, very nice.
So I was like, well, I guess, he bets out again. Like,
That's pretty amazing. That's pretty great because you're thinking now he might have been betting the flush draw and gotten the flush.
but he bet like kind of small, like 225. Other guy folds, I call. I float this, but I'm not float. I mean, I just call behind because I'm not really scared of anything other than the board pairing, right?
That's true. That's a good point. I mean, even another diamond, you still have the nut diamond. I mean, the diamond could be like an action killer is what you're scared of, but not really scared of, it just killing you.
Exactly. So I'm like, well, if he has like 5, 6 of diamonds, like another diamond would be bad.
Right.
Another diamond comes. So there's 4 diamonds out there, and I have the king high, the nut diamond. He only has about 600 behind. I bet 400. And he puts the call in, and I show him, and he gets very mad and leaves.
Did he show what he had?
No.
Not a ton makes sense. Like, I guess you said the ace was out there.
Yes.
Ace queen with the queen of diamonds would make a ton of sense here, right?
That would make sense, yeah.
I mean,
the queen was out there. The jack of diamonds was the second nuts.
oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
then like ace jack with the jack of diamonds,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
So I mean yeah, because I mean you flop top pair, and then there's a good chance you would have bet your second nut draw, and then get there.
But here's the other thing. I mean, do you like a raise there for that short? I mean, if he only has 600 behind, I mean, if I raise him there, you kind of can let him get off the hook, right?
Wait, what do you mean, right? You bet
On the turn. Because he was like, I can't believe you only called on the turn. But if you only have 600 behind, you make it 250. What am I raising to? I mean, I'm not min clicking.
I mean,
and then any bet I put would basically be an all in for him. So you can kind of let some stuff off the hook there. When you already have it so locked up, I kind of like a call there.
I kind of like the call too. Well, I mean, because in this multi-way pot, once you raise that turn, I mean, your hand is so face up.
Exactly. Especially with people who know what's going on, right? I mean, these players knew, that kind of stuff.
I mean, at the very least, you have is a flush.
Yeah.
Most of the time, a good flush. So, well, no, like, I'd probably do this with a lower flush, protecting against other diamonds here.
I for sure would have done it with a lower, like, if I had the 5-6 of diamonds, I would have put the raise in on the turn for sure.
Yeah, but when someone bets the flop, they're either betting with top pair or the flush draw. So once you raise there, I mean, you are, now it might be a bluff, but you are stating to the table, I mean, just as clearly as if you say it out loud, I have a flush here. So, I mean, if you, like you say, if you have a small flush, I like the raise. Because then you're charging, you still got outs and all of that. But against with your exact hand, I kind of like the call.
Right. So, after that big hand, and there was a few, I mean, I got a lot of bluffs through, that not that I normally wouldn't, but, a lot of bluffs through and stuff. And, I had one nice no bluff. I counted my stack. I thought about shipping it on someone, but the problem is whatever he called me with would have beat me. So happy I didn't do that.
This sounds very great. Glad you did not do that as well.
So after being into the game for 2,000, I ended up cashing out for 4,303 for a $2,303 profit.
I mean, the really amazing thing is doing this after losing that one soul crushing hand.
I mean, you got to think this session was 7.5 hours.
That to me, that's amazing. Because I mean, there's no way I'm losing a hand like that and just not losing my shit. Way to keep it together and bring that session back, because that ended and went from a complete disaster to just a great win. And like I say, when you get set over set for that biggest pot that you've ever played, that's not something you're counting on as being a good session.
Definitely not. But I mean, it was nice. And then I was also thinking, so when I went to go play again on that Monday, that next session, I went and played 1-3 at 88. I hit a set on someone's ace king, so they had ace king, flop came king 3-4, 2 hearts. I had pocket fours, double up there. I hit quads, didn't double up, actually missed a bet, didn't play it great. We'll just skip that hand for now. So I ended up being up $677 when I was trying to wait to get on the 5-5 list. And the 5-5 game never happened. So I ended up calling it kind of a short session and just took my win and went home. But I mean, it was one of those sessions where like you just got good hands versus people's less good hands. I mean, just monsters versus monsters. I was on the good end of everything that session. And it was just 4 hours, and Yeah, so that was nice. And so coming off of 2 pretty big sessions, I mean, even
That's-
though, I mean, $677 is still a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, $677. I mean, if that's over $100 an hour. I mean, like I say, if we were averaging that, I mean, we sure as hell wouldn't be working the jobs that we are now. So I mean, yeah, that's 677, and that is a great session. So yeah, I mean, like I say, I mean that one's really good. I mean, getting hands in there, but that $2,000 profit session over 2,000 in a hand where you get murdered and is just. Here's the thing: is imagine if those 10s are good. If it's bottom set and you run like that, I mean, the cash out's like, god damn, it's even hard to imagine at that point.
Here's the other thing, though, like you and I were talking about on the cash out. Like, does it ever even get that big? I mean, at some point you just leave, right?
Oh, I mean, you know me. I mean, I'm like, I'm up $400. I'm like, I better protect this shit. Yeah, no, it's so yeah, no, absolutely. Speaking of you going to Paramount and then going to Johnny Chan's 88 on for the bigger game, did you see Paramount just did an Instagram post asking people who were interested in 5-5 to text them?
I did not see that.
Yeah, I saw it on the way over here. So I wonder if Paramount's going to try to get into that 5-5 type action.
Paramount, I guess we'll kind of end. It'll be kind of a short one because we're going to try to do some. Well, we just pressed for time today, so I mean, it is what it is. But Paramount always seems to be so good at finding like those little niches that people aren't in and capitalizing, right?
Oh yeah.
Like it's so obvious that there is not a consistent 5-5 game in Houston, right?
Right.
And they're like, you know what? Maybe we'll do that because they did the 2-5. But the problem is for me, they did it on Friday, and I work every Friday. I told them if you guys do it on Thursday, I'll be here every week, right? I mean,
yeah.
But
I'm shocked they didn't take that into account because really, in all honesty, I mean, if you get like 1 or 2 or 3 consistent players, that really changes things because all you need is 8 more to make that table.
I'm making it sound like maybe I didn't say it to Paramount. Yeah, I said it to some guy at the urinal.
Okay, yeah, I can see where they're not redirecting their entire structure on what games they're playing based off what you're telling some random dude at the urinal. Why you're even talking to dudes at the urinal is another question, actually. So,
well, no. So it was. I was walking out of the restroom. He was walking in, right, and he was the guy who played at the 5-5. And I asked him, I was like, or 2-5. I said, how's it been going? Because I know he's been at them consistently.
And
he was like, oh no, they haven't even made the last few weeks. I was like, what, really? And he was like, yeah, no one shows up for the 2-5 anymore. I was like, oh man, well if you guys had it on Thursday, I could come here every week, and then just walked out. But
I would have thought that would have made so easily. Like a lot of people like the idea of being on the live stream. 2-5's not the big, like a gigantic game. I'm shocked that didn't make more often.
Well, I saw the text that they wanted to do it again, so I imagine. I think obviously they want to have it, right? I mean, they have all the equipment for it and stuff. So, I mean, I think it's just a matter of time, right?
I think so. I mean, I'd like to go do it, but Fridays are I mean, you work every Friday, and Fridays are hit and miss for me. And I like to say, I'm trying to give more business to I like variety, and I like going to Houston and Austin to these new poker rooms. But with College Station just kind of getting off the ground poker-wise, and all these rooms, one big room and all the other rooms struggling to make it, I'm trying to play more in College Station, or else I'd be there all the time.
I guess we'll end this podcast with this note. Here's something I've noticed with all like playing the 5-5 at 52 or 5-5-10 at 5-5-10 at 88 and the 2-5 at Paramount. Once the game gets going is when the interest seems to begin. Like people then kind of walk over and kind of see what's going on and then try to get on the table. But it seems like starting it up is what's so difficult.
I can see that.
Oh, that's just it? Okay. Yeah, I mean, because it seems like at Paramount, when I was on the 2-5, people would walk up and look and want to play. But it's like, if everyone wants to play, we could do this more often. Or, it doesn't have to be on the live stream. We could play 2-5. If all these people want to play, and then like when we're at 88 playing 5-5-10, and people are like, oh, the 5-5-10, I want to play. It just seems like we could get the game going more consistently.
I mean, I have thoughts on this, but it's gonna lead down a rabbit hole, man. So
Yeah, we're good. We're all set.
yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but yeah,
I guess you've noticed that as well. Same thing in
Yeah.
College Station with your 5-5 round of each kind of thing. Or
Oh,
not?
those 5.5s in College Station, they start up, and I mean, those people are all about that 5.5 action.
Well, I guess on that note, this concludes episode 19 of the Texas Poker Podcast. We'll see you next week. Bye.
That was the Texas Poker Podcast. Go ahead and rack up, add time, and we'll see you next week.